Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, we got an absolutely fantastic show for you today. We got one of my best buddies in the world that's here. He's also my financial advisor, and I tell you, uh, many of us wait sometimes too late to even think about, planning for retirement or planning for whatever else. Um, and sometimes we miss the boat on that one because we lack understanding. And all of a sudden, that aha moment happens. And well, I'm going to be retiring in about 3, 4 years, and I don't have a 401. I don't have anything to sit back on and fall back on. Well, that's why we're having this show today. Is because this great guy, Joshua Goldsmith, financial advisor, Goldsmith Financial, been doing this for years and helping people out and educating them, getting them prepared for whatever situation or circumstance, retirement, whatever that you might have. And he's going to educate us today. He's going to drop some key gems on some of the things that you might want to consider doing now. It's never too late to start planning your financial plan. And it's always great to have someone that really knows what he's doing that you can trust. And so Joshua Goldsmith is that guy. Without any further ado, I'm going to bring Joshua Goldsmith back on the show to talk about this great topic. And if you want to be part of the conversation, whichever mechanism you're watching it on, E360, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, over 25 other live streaming networks, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Ask this great man any question you want, and I promise you we'll get you an answer. How you doing, Josh? How you doing today?
Great, James. How about yourself? It's great to be here.
Man, anytime that I get an opportunity to have you on the show to educate me even a little more, and also to educate our public on the importance of financial planning and the benefits of financial planning, it's always great because, just like I mentioned, a lot of people don't take this seriously until it's too late.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that today. But first of all, can you refresh our viewers and our listeners on who is Joshua Goldsmith and where you grew up from and where you at today?
Oh, sure. Well, I grew up in Michigan. Went to Eastern Michigan University for a couple of years before transferring my academia pursuits out to California. I have a degree in psychology. I've had an interest in the markets since for as long as I could remember. Since I was 13, I've been following the stock market because I've owned stock since then. And boy, my travails took me to California, where I was recruited into the financial industry about 17 years ago. And I never looked back. I started my business back in 2012 at Goldsmith Financial as a financial consultant and owner, CEO of Goldsmith Financial. And it's just, I love it. I live it. I breathe it. It's my passion. I love helping folks to reach their financial goals.
Wow. So a lot of people, just like I mentioned, they wait too late to even think about starting a financial plan or to just get started. Can you tell our viewers and listeners why it's important to get an understanding as early as possible and start investing as early as possible?
Well, that reminds me of the old quote about, Albert Einstein. He says the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. I love that quote. And he was a pretty smart guy, a lot smarter than you and me, JC. It's like the earlier you start, the more time you have to have your investments grow. And if you're focused on the right things, it's like, fundamentals, things that are going to be here that people require, like toothpaste, for example. It's like, I can't remember the last time I heard that toothpaste is going out of style. It's like, it's like some of the best investments are sitting there staring us in the face. And we just want to look the other way. So many times we want to make it harder on ourselves. So no, I'm going to wait. I don't have to sign up for my company plan because I want more money in my pocket today because I'm going to enjoy my life now. Well, guess what? Life is a long process. It can be. And the sooner that you start saving for your life to move beyond serving the man, the happier you're going to be.
Wow. You mentioned something, man, like toothpaste going out of style. I certainly hope that's not the case, man, because it's going to be bad for everybody in the world.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
hey, Joshua, can you let our viewers and listeners know what is what's financial planning? What does it entails?
Well, great question. Financial planning, it's a process. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, I have to have a lot of money to go to a financial planner. Well, a financial planner can actually help you to discover the areas that you're spending that you could be saving. And there is a financial advisor, financial planner for everybody that has a willing heart. I've never turned anybody away that says, they sincerely want to invest. But there's a process. It's a 7-part process. I mean, a financial advisor, it's not a small task, right? You've got to understand the client's goals, understand the situation, understand where the client's coming from, identify the goals of a client. Is very important. And then the financial advisor will take that information and assess the situation. And it may not be an overnight process. A good advisor will take what a potential client is telling them and actually run some different scenarios with them. Then they'll develop a course of action. It's very, and then present the plan, implement the plan, and monitor the plan. I mean, that's the whole process in a nutshell of what a good advisor will do.
So what's the difference between long-term planning and short-term planning?
Well, like I said before, long-term planning is a process, but short-term planning is a process too. So a lot of times people will call me up and say, I've got a set amount of money in an account, and it's my down payment on my house, which I'm going to buy in 8 months from now. Or my plan to buy is to really hunker down and look at 6 months from now. Do you have any investments that are appropriate? And I said, yeah, it's called money market accounts, because the closer you are to a goal, the less risk you should be taking to achieve that goal. So short-term planning is technically less than 1 year. Short-term investing is technically less than 1 year. Long-term planning is going to be a year or longer, but it's really minimum 3 years. And it's something where you have to look at the investment fundamentals and say, is there a function for this in society? Is this like it are we going to be changing diapers? Is society that has a need for diapers? Well, why wouldn't we be investing in that? Are we going to have a need for schools, districts? Are we going to have a need for municipalities? The answer is yes. The risk profile of these it goes down, and the appropriateness of long-term investing of these types of investments are very important to a diversified long-term portfolio. We don't want something there that's high risk that you may not be here tomorrow in a long-term investment strategy.
Wow. So when an advisor asks a client about their risk tolerance, I know you mentioned that a second ago. What is your risk tolerance? What exactly type of information is that advisor asking for?
Well, an advisor, you may be taking a little 6-question questionnaire, or advisors talking to you about risk, and you may think, oh, I'm a very risky person. I want to take a lot of risk in my 401k. It's long-term planning. Let's go for it. And the thing about it is that what an advisor is looking for is how a client, how an investor is going to react in different types of market situations. And you may think that you're a high risk investor, but the prospect and probability of a market decline in a long-term strategy, long-term portfolio is very, very high. Markets don't just go, they do two things, JC. They go up and they go down. They go up and they go down. And so and a good advisor will needs to know, is this person that, let's say they have an inheritance, and is this person able to witness a 15 or 20% decline in their portfolio? Are they going to be able to ride that out, knowing that, hey, long-term planning, history tells us that these markets will recover. They always have recovered in the past. But if you get someone that's going to panic in the type of portfolio, or they're going to jump ship, they're going to call you up thinking that now you don't know anything what you're doing just because the market went down. They're going to abandon their original strategy. Now, that's not really client. You didn't do your job as a professional advisor because they've reached their breaking point, and you want to avoid that. Number one rule, for an advisor is don't blow up your client.
Okay, so how do you go about when you run across a client like that, real quickly before the break? How you go about talking them back off the ledge?
Well, there's a reason why I have a degree in psychology and I'm in the financial field, JC. It's very delicate situation, and there's most of the things that I would recommend are tried and true. In other words, there is a long history to show how it's performed in 2008, for example, or the Great Recession, or different volatile market environments. So hopefully they're not out on the ledge. Otherwise, they're going to call the police or somebody. But hypothetically, somebody that's out there, we've got to kind of rope them back in and just educate. And so what did history tell us? Actually, instead of being so afraid, we might want to reach back deep down into your pockets and actually put a little bit more in, because history tells us when the market buy low and sell high. These are very simple rules here, but they are tried and true.
Wow, you're absolutely right. And right now, I know a lot of your clients probably call you because the market is tumbling and back up, and it's just all over the place right now. But I think the main thing is stickability, and just maintain your trust and confidence in your financial advisor. We're gonna take a station break, but we come back. We got Teresa Diamond got a couple of questions for you. And I tell you, and if you're out there and if you got questions for this great man, all you have to do is just go to whichever mechanism you're watching this on. Ask Joshua any questions. I promise I will get it on there. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Hey, I'm so drawn to you. I'm so drawn to you.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'll tell you, this young man right here is like he always does. Very exciting information, educating us all on why it's important to have a financial advisor. Also, most importantly, the benefits of planning ahead of time. And if you haven't already started doing that, it's never too late. And Joshua is my financial advisor. I'm quite happy with him, all the great things that he is doing, and I think you'll be very happy with him as well. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask him any question that you like. Promise he'll get you an answer. Josh, as you see, Teresa Diamond got a couple of questions for you. First of all, I wonder how most working class families who live payday to payday or paycheck to paycheck or not financially, literally educated, how can they be educated earlier before retirement?
That's a great question. There is no, let's say for retirement class in high school. I wish there were, because there'd be a lot more people saving. It's really the responsibility, of people. Once look, we make our beds. We've got to lay in them, and so I'm not saying that that the working class people that are living paycheck to paycheck should be excluded. They're not, but there are fundamental things that they will need to change if they want to create wealth in the future. Living paycheck to paycheck is not one of them. You cannot create obviously wealth when you're living paycheck to paycheck. Something has to change. So either the standard of living has to go well below the amount of money that you're making. Come out of this consumerism, people. You don't need a new car every 4 years. You don't need to lease a car. Get rid of those credit cards. Stop charging them up. Get them in the blender. Get them in the shredder, because debt is the enemy. Who's the only people getting rich on those credit cards is the banks. Those are the only people getting rich. We are suffering. They're taking advantage of our youth. They're taking advantage. They're setting up tables at college campuses. Take a new credit card. Build your almighty FICA score. FICA is way overrated. It's way overrated. It's next to useless.
Yes. So what I think she's asking is, just like under the J.C. Cooley Foundation, a lot of things that we do, we haven't been able to do that lately. Is when speaking at the high schools or speaking to classes, we go in there and we teach them at 16, 17, 18 years of age about the importance of being able to put a little bit to the side now. And just get in the habit of that, because it have to be a lifestyle thing. You can't wait and just spend everything. Just like most people that I know, they get a couple of dollars in their pocket, Josh, they start burning their pocket. They just got to go and spend it.
Right.
We have to teach our youth and young adults in our communities, just like you said, that you don't have to spend everything. You don't have to buy this. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Put some of that money to the side. Pay yourself just like you paying a bill, meaning pay yourself in the bank.
Right.
And keep
and another thing, JC, is that people, they think, okay, well, I can manage to save, but I'm not Warren Buffett. and I don't know anybody that's even close to Warren Buffett. And, the guy down the street is charging so much money. It's like, well, the thing is that, yeah, you're not, but, you don't need to have exponential 100% returns per year to have a positive impact on your portfolio. There's a very simple rule. A lot of probably people have heard it. Maybe you haven't. It's called the Rule of 72. And all that is if you divide the interest that you're receiving by 72, 72 divided by, let's say you get a 10% interest per year. If you have $100 and you just leave it in an account and you get a 10% interest per year, in 7.2 years, you're going to have 200. It doubles. It applies to large numbers. You have $50,000 in 7.2 years. You get a 10% return every year, average annual return. You're going to have $100,000 at the end of that term. And so, 7.2. That is a attainable, reasonable type of return. I mean, the credit cards are charging us 25% a year annualized. Figure that into this rule. I mean, who's getting rich here on these things? Get rid of those credit cards.
Wow. So Josh, I want you to tell our viewers and our listeners, what is a typical financial plan?
Typical financial plan. That's a great question. It's like, the thing is that there's really no typical plan in my book. Okay, you're going to go to a financial planner at the bank. They may have a cookie cutter plan for every investor between the ages of 25 and 35. That's not really feasible, because everyone's different. Everyone's unique. Even though you may have the same thing as common as such as age. Everyone has a different goal. Everyone has a different dream. Everyone has a different lifestyle. And so all of these things need to be addressed when putting together, a financial plan. So, and that's what I do. I create custom portfolios to suit my clients' lifestyles.
So what type of investment do you use with your clients, depending on the risk tolerance, depending on how much they are willing to, I wouldn't say sacrifice, but you don't have to go out to dinner every day, or you don't have to do all these other type of things. It's just all about wants. How would you go about trying to convince one of your clients that if you're planning on meeting this goal, being at this time right here, these are some of the things that you have to do?
So, as far as attaining certain goals, JC,
Yes.
The types of investments that I use to help my clients, these are tools. And so one big mistake that an investor will make when they come to a financial professional is to tell him how he's going to do his job. It's like nobody likes a backseat driver. Yes, everybody knows something about the market, and most people know enough to hurt themselves. I look at investments as a tool, kind of like it could be, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to hurt yourself. But the tools I use are very fundamental: mutual funds, stocks in certain situations, bonds, unit investment trusts, fixed annuities, variable annuities, and life insurance. And these are all the tools in my arsenal that I'm an expert on, that I've studied for many, many years, and have and know what the purpose of each one in a portfolio, to help my clients reach that long-term goal.
You mentioned life insurance. What roles does that have? I mean, I understand it, but some of our viewers might not. Can you explain that?
Yeah, yes. Life insurance is actually a critical part of anyone's long-term strategy. A lot of people don't realize it, because if something were to happen to the primary breadwinner at a crucial time in a family's growth, and that income disappears, what happens to those kids? What happens to that wife, that widow? It's an income replacement tool. And it's, again, insurance is something we all need, but nobody ever wants, right? It's like, we hope we never need it, right? Especially life insurance. It's like we're not going to be around if that income replacement triggers, but that's taking care of our family. How much do we really care about our families? Is it just that, if something happens to primary breadwinner, there's no income replacement, there was no life insurance, your financial advisor didn't recommend that is one. Okay. And there's two different types. There's term insurance where let's say you just want to be covered for the next 25 years. Kids will be growing up. I'll have most of my mortgage paid off. I won't need that income replacement anymore as much. I'm going to, have my 401k and maybe a couple other sources of income, or permanent, saying, you know what, I want this life insurance. This death benefit will pay out upon the end of my life. It's going to be part of my estate plan, and I'm going to leave it to my beneficiaries because it's a tax-free benefit for bereavement. It'll help with burial expenses. It's going to help with, to build a cash value along the way where you can say, you know what, I'd like to just, I've got about 50,000 saved in that life insurance policy because it's been 20 years that I've been paying into it. Those things can build cash value. You can take that out and do whatever you want with it later on. So you can use some of these for income as well.
Wow. Want to go back a little bit because Teresa added a little bit more to what she was asking. She said, JC, I grew up poor with a single mom. She did all of us a favor by opening up savings account, but that's all she knew. There was no way for her to save with 8 kids. So could you add on a little bit about that? And that goes back a couple of questions ago.
Well, sure. That's a tough situation. Mom is raising 8 kids, and she only heard about a savings account because nobody's teaching her. There's no motivation for a lot of people to give out that education, because most advisors are focusing on only the people that have the money already, right? So how, this is a big problem. How do we break this cycle? How do we help the people that are actually, doing the best they can? They have, they've got a big family, and they just don't have the education. They were never taught that this is how there's a big need. It's all about education. And I wish I had a better answer and a solution for this. But the best I can say is that we have to start educating people earlier. There should be a mandatory retirement class in high school, in my opinion, that teaches kids that, hey, having money is a choice. It's not a happenstance. You don't have to be Steve Jobs or, owner of Tesla to make $1 million. You can do it as a choice if you're in your early 20s and you have a decision to make that you're going to pay yourself first, and then start paying, and then start assessing what your standard of living can be and live below that.
And you're absolutely right. And, of course you got to pay your bills, but you should be one of the bills that you pay first. And then, just like you said, assess yourself, because everything that you want is not a need. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back, and I tell you, just great financial advisors really putting it out there. And we will be talking to him some more when we return from the break. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. See you shortly.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, There is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Welcome back to It's Your Life. I have my fantastic guest here. Joshua Goldsmith is educating us. And really, putting a lot of information out there that we need to take heed right now. Even our young folks out there, if you're watching and listening to this, you want to start putting together a plan yourself, or either reach out to Joshua or any other financial advisors, or get your school to bring people in to start teaching you all how to start saving and planning for your future, because you got a long future here. So it's the sooner you start, the better off you would be, because just like he was talking about the rule of 72, money doubling quite often, and we need to understand those things. So if you want to be part of this great conversation with Joshua Goldsmith, just go to the comments and ask him any questions you want. Josh, now managing someone else's money is so personal and individualized. How do you keep up with such a diverse mix of things and trying to meet their needs and help them reach their goal? Because each client, I believe, is kind of different.
Each client is different, and that is my passion, and it better be, because there's so many different needs and so many things different going on in everybody's life and in everybody's portfolio, that I've got to be able to kind of switch hats in it with the drop of a hat. But the way I keep up with it, because it is something I love. And when you're following your heart, it's really work is not, it's not work. It's something that brings in money to pay the bills, but it's actually, you're kind of, I'm living within my purpose. So, yeah, I see Teresa.
Oh yeah. And I think that's the word, Teresa. This is great information, Josh. I wish I had the benefits of knowing this information at an earlier age. Thank you for your expertise. The information is valuable to generations to come. And that's what we call creating generational wealth.
JC, I just want to say something on that. Is that really, one thing we haven't talked about yet, and maybe we're getting to it, but I'll just interlude here, is estate planning. Estate planning is when, we all want to be remembered for something. It's very important, actually fundamental, I think, to our existence is, how we're going to be remembered. But if you don't have a plan, a will, a trust, If you don't like your family and your beneficiaries, don't do anything. Okay, because everyone's going to flock and everyone's going to fight and everyone's going to tear things apart. I've seen it. It can get really ugly, and it's just a matter of picking up the phone. When you're put the social media down for 30 minutes and just create it, or even on a lunch break, get it done, because estate planning is a very, very important part of the financial planning process.
State planning is so important. Wills and trust. I just redid mine recently, because the more things you have or the less things you lose, you have to always keep it up to date, because I do believe that families do fight and fuss when you're not here anymore. Everybody, I mean, they want to take claim, and by having a trust or a will, that would help resolve a lot of those issues. All right, there. So it's very important that we all have a trust or a will as relate to state planning. So Josh, what do you think about the current state of the economy and the tax rates, uh, where everything costs so much more, and that means that saving is a stress on folks to be able to put aside monies like they used to be. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think one of the things you're mentioning is inflation. Is like, inflation has kind of been out of hand over the last 12 months, over 8%. Cost of goods are rising. Cost of living is rising. We just had one of the biggest cost of living increases in Social Security in over, I think, 20 years. I mean, it was huge. So, as far as how that affects planning, it's like, we better be getting paid. First of all, we better be getting paid for what we're worth out there. So all you people that know that you're worth more, you need to have that conversation with your boss and say, hey, you know what? I am worth more than this 3% increase that I got last year, or go for that, reach higher for that next position. Have a plan, have some motivation to go ahead and get that done, because it's not going to slow down. Okay, interest rates at where they're at right now, I say it like a 30-year fixed mortgage. I think last I checked, JC is at about 6.5%, and people are saying, whoa, this is just too high. But if you look at the history of interest rates, actually it's pretty reasonable. We're just coming from the lowest interest rate environment in history, where it's virtually zero. Where you can get 30-year fixed rates for under 3%, which is just unheard of. Yes, now it's 6.5%. It's going to cut into our purchasing power. However, with the history of interest rates, if it's time to get that house and you're waiting to move on with your life because of elements that are out of your control, if you qualify and you can do it now. Because your primary residence is not an investment. It's if you're borrowing money to get it, it's a liability, and you can't control all of so many factors, but it's going to increase the quality of your life. But obviously, if anybody has a specific question, they've got to talk to a professional to make sure that it's the right time for them.
So due to the state, the economy, a lot of things being unstable. And I know that this happens to financial advisors all the time. We have clients want to come and want to sell the majority of their investments, to, I guess, try to make ends meet, or just feel comfortable that they have money in the bank, or et cetera. What are your thoughts on that?
As far as what, JC's?
Your clients saying, "Hey, I need to sell my investments."
Jumping ship.
I wouldn't have put it like that, but
Getting out on the ledge. I mean, the reality is that when you a good advisor, when you come to them, they're going to take notes. They're going to understand your goal, again, assess the situation, and you're going to share your goals, and they will remind you at those times of what your goals are. And if your goals are, hey, this is a 10-year hold time, and you're thinking to sell to try and time the market, you're trying to you're trying to taste an apple by opening an orange. It's just not gonna work. What you've got to do is you got to stick. Once you have a plan, you move forward with that plan. And if you're not comfortable with the person that set the plan up, then you can question, and maybe you can get a second opinion, which is perfectly fine. Get a second opinion, but just keep in mind, when you ask, 5 people the same question, you're going to get a different answer almost 100% of the time. You've got to be a little bit vigilant, and do some educate yourself as well.
Yes, I guess you're your guys there. Okay, so John, what do you think about debt and using debt for real estate, credit cards, personal loans to start a new business?
So, debt is so counterproductive to building wealth. It's like, how do you justify, taking out a giant loan because and even if you're putting it into yourself and you're saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to risk it because I'm investing in myself. No, you just borrowed money, and now you owe, $100,000. Let's say you take out $100,000. You want to put it into your business. It's like, okay, you may get clients, you may not, but you guarantee you have to pay that debt back or file bankruptcy. So credit cards, I think, is just ruining people's lives left and right. They're spending money they don't have or they're going to make next month. And even if they put it into a budget, and even if they're paying them off every month, I mean, who's getting rich here? Is it you think you're fooling the credit card company by taking advantage of those miles? You're getting miles, even though you pay it off every month. Well, I'm getting free miles. I'm going to get a free plane ticket. You're going to pay for that at some point. The credit cards they're not a stupid company. They will find a way to charge. And I am not a fan of credit. There's actually a really great. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dave Ramsey and his baby steps. All of you out there, please go check out Dave Ramsey. He has a daily show, and he's a financial show, and he's got these baby steps that will help each and every one of you. You don't need an advisor. Just go and look up his baby steps, and you're going to be able to find out how you can address things like debt and how to save for retirement. Basics.
Well, yeah, Dave Ramsey is very, very good. Josh, we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back and we're going to pick it up because this is such an interesting conversation. So if you want to be part of the conversation, you still got time. All you got to do is just whichever platform you're on, just ask Josh a question. I'll make sure I get it up. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Fight again. And if you want my opinion, I'll let it take me away. Only relief is the 4 on the floor and the crowd that goes, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phrases and stages. These experiences teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to It's Your Life with James Cooley. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get you equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and again, my fantastic guest here. Always a pleasure to have him on the show, educating us on, financial planning and a lot of other great topics that he has talked about previously on the show. And I tell you, every time he's on, it's just a learning experience. I learn a whole lot every time that I get a chance to chat with him. And I know that you will as well. So, but key thing that he had mentioned a few minutes ago is start saving early, talk to a financial advisor, trust, will, estate planning. All of these things are so important, so, and it's not too late to ask this man any question you want. Just go to the platform that you're on, ask him any questions. I get on the screen. Josh, traditional trading, would you say that it's dead or it's boring and it's just people, they don't have a whole lot of faith in the traditional system anymore? What are your thoughts on that?
They said buy and hold. The buy and hold strategy was dead. It's not. The thing is that it's very easy to pick apart a strategy that says buy quality, hold it for a long period of time, and you're going to get results. You forget there's management. There is some buying and selling going on to rebalance the portfolio along the way. But it's not like someone just picked a esoteric company out of the sky and said, here you go. There's research done on these companies. There is a history on these companies. Some of these companies are 100 years old or 85 years old, and they've been around through World War II and through the different depressions, recessions, and declines in the market. And so if you're looking at one little piece of the pie, and you don't even know what you have, that's why it's so important to find a good professional advisor and invest in something. But it's also very valuable. You can get advice from somebody, and you don't necessarily have to have a lot of money. You can say, well, what's a good investment for me to invest in, for the next 10 years potentially? And you know what? Based on history, that somebody can look that up and say, in your situation with the amount of money you're able to invest, this is what I can project. This is what you should expect, and this is what the investment is, and go along your way. I'm not going to charge you a commission. There you go. It's not a whole lot of work for an advisor to do something like that for somebody.
Wow. Got a question. There are so many unsophisticated investors out there who put their sole trust in financial consultants. How do you go about trying to educate your client about investing?
Great question, Michelle. As far as I will go, as far as my clients want to go down that rabbit hole. I am always here. I put my cell phone on my business card for a reason, because I'm always willing and happy to provide education with, not only here, Josh, go ahead and take this and see what you can do. Well, some people actually want to know what I'm doing, and I'm more than happy to share and to educate and say, why is this here in my portfolio? What are we doing with this? How is this going to benefit me? And each investment, as I custom tailor these investment plans, has a purpose. Some will have the purpose of, let's say, going up when interest rates go up. Some have the purpose of, just providing a dividend in turbulent markets, because there has to be some kind of anchor in a portfolio as well, too, so that you don't have a high beta with the market. So your portfolio isn't reacting. The market goes up 1%, your portfolio goes up 1%. It's not always that simple.
So Jack, let's change it a little bit. I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on cryptocurrency? I mean, including Bitcoin, etc.
Crypto. Okay. Well, I know a lot of you love crypto out there. One of the opponents of crypto, Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's mentor. Warren Buffett is heralded as one of the greatest investors of all time. Charlie Munger is his mentor and partner. He recently said that cryptocurrency is rat poison. I am in the camp that it is not. There's not enough fundamental evidence in that security to give us a real awareness of where, what it's going to do. I know it's come up 37,000% over the last 7 or 8 years. But it makes me very nervous because when some it's like shining a shooting star shines brightest just before it dies. And so I'm not a big fan. I haven't found a whole lot of fundamental use for it. I've never gone into a store and said, "Here's my crypto. Can I have a Coke?" It's just hasn't hit. The practicality of it is just not there. Once that hits, maybe I'll change my opinion. But for now, it's something I'm going to stay away from.
Okay, stockbrokers investing in romanticizing on television, the media, movies, etc. What does this sound? Why does it sound so boring? I'm talking about this. Even when you watching a stock show, it just sounds boring.
Well, yeah, I mean, investments, a good investment portfolio, it should be fairly boring. There's nothing sexy about it. I mean, it's a mutual fund. It has a name or a stock or a bond or whatever. It's a conglomerate of a whole bunch of different investments, and it sits there for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you open up your portfolio, you're looking at the same name, the same investment, and maybe it has a few more shares if the dividends were reinvesting. But I mean, it's not, it doesn't have to be to get you to your goals. I mean, this, everyone, thinks that they're, Gordon Gekko from the old movie Wall Street, where he said, greed, for all intents and purposes, that, ladies and gentlemen, greed is good. And it just changed the whole generation, thought process. That's not what investing is. Investing is a process. It's a long process. It's a long-term process that supports you as an individual creating WEALTH, wealth. Okay, wealth is created not from debt, but from dedication, from hard work, and from commitment.
Motivation, dedication, creation, and commitment. Hey, Josh, we're down to the last couple of minutes of the show. What are some key takeaways that you want our viewers and listeners to get from this great discussion?
We had a great show, JC. I would say one of the key glaring points is for those younger people out there, start something early. Talk to somebody. It's not going to be, don't be afraid to take the first step because you're investing in yourself. And it doesn't have to be, I'm putting this dollar in and I'm never going to see it again. No, you can go with a goal. You have a goal of buying a house. You have a goal of, whatever. You're going on a family vacation once a year. You want to travel the world. Someone can help you to do those goals and to set you up in a professional manner. Please do, and be, you'll be much happier overall. Then that's pretty much my takeaway, JC.
Well, if someone was listening, you don't touch their heart, how can they get in touch with you to help enlist your services?
Look me up, goldsmithfinancial.net, Goldsmith Financial. You can reach me. I'm on the internet. Just Google me, Joshua Goldsmith. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I don't charge an hourly rate. I offer your first consultation for free, in fact, and it'd be my pleasure to help. But just know that it's a mutual interview. So I'm looking for good people.
Wow, this has been an absolutely wonderful show. I'd like to thank you so much for taking time to come on the James Cooley Show.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for hooking up another great show. She's just on the road. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in every day. I want you to always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley.